Please tell whether I'm audible and my screen is visible or not. Right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to machine learning course. So today we will be discussing the math part, the mathematics that is behind backpropagation algorithm. So we have spent a lot of time in understanding gradient descent, and similarly now we will try to understand the math behind backpropagation algorithm. So friends, whatever neural networks you are going to use, right, various types of neural networks we have listed in our previous classes. Most of the neural networks, almost all neural networks, they use the method of backpropagation in the process of adjusting the weights, right? So friends, this is very important session, and we are trying to see the math part behind the backpropagation algorithm. So I request each and every student to pay attention and try to understand the concepts properly. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. We will not move to the next topic until unless the current topic is clear to you. Right. So this is what is the policy we are following right from the beginning. So friends, now we will try to understand the backpropagation algorithms math part, the derivatives, how do we calculate, that part we will be discussing now. So I think I am audible and my screen is also shared, right? Can anyone please respond in the chat box? Yeah, already people have responded. Thank you. So fine, friends. Now, let us take a very simple neural network, right? I will not complicate this example by taking lot of neurons. So I'll take only one hidden layer, one input layer, and one output layer. And again, to further simplify our discussion, I will take only one node in each layer. I'll take only one node in each layer. So friends, please observe our neural network will look like this. Right. So let me draw this one. Right. So this is the input neuron. This is the hidden layer. As I told you, to make things simple, I am taking only one neuron, and this is the output layer, right? So this is input layer, hidden layer, output layer, input layer, hidden layer, output layer, right? So friends, if you remember, we have discussed two things, right? One is like inside this neuron, if you remember, I have drawn a line like this. Inside this one also, inside this node, I have drawn a line like this because it was representing two things. So this left part, this one, I'll increase the font size here. So friends, this one is the one which is colored in pink, that represents the summation of weights and biases. So the normal formula which we have seen, right, that part is represented by pink. And you know very well that the sigma of W1 into X1 plus W1 into W2 into X2, W3 into X3, and so on, plus bias. So that particular equation is a linear equation. We all know that very well. So what we need is, we wanted to add some non-linearity to it. So non-linearity can be added using sigmoid function or tan H function or ReLU function, right? So why non-linearity need to be added, that we have discussed in our previous class elaboratedly. So in this node, there are two parts, my dear friends. The pink part represents the actual linear equation which we get by multiplying the weights and inputs and adding it to the bias. So to this pink one, we will apply a sigmoid function on the output generated in this pink part, I will apply a sigmoid function. So this is sigmoid function is also called as activation function. So sigmoid function is also called as activation function. Sigmoid function is also called as activation function. Similarly, in the output layer also, this is my linear function, which is nothing but product of weights and inputs added to the bias. And again on that output, what I need is an activation. So in this node we have two parts, activation and right. So friends, before we move on, let us try to recollect what is the sigmoid function. Sigmoid function, right? Sigmoid function. This is to add non-linearity to your output. Sigmoid function. The formula for sigmoid function is 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z. 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z, and this z is our actual output of linear function. So what is z? Z is nothing but sigma of I is equal to 1 to n, which is product of wi and xi, weights and weights and inputs, and we will add bias to it, right? And you know very well, same equation can also be written as, because bias is a compulsory component, so we represent bias with another input x naught, and weight will be w naught. So same equation can also be written as sigma of I is equal to 0, I is equal to 0 to n. Now bias part is included here, so I write wi into xi. Both are same. So this product, this value, summation of these products is my z. So which is the pink part. Now this z, whatever I am getting, is a linear output. We have discussed elaborately what is linear output and what do you mean by non-linear function, why we want to make our output as non-linear, we have discussed, right? So all real-time problems except regression problems, the outputs of remaining problems come are real world problems are non-linear only. So when our real world problems, most of them are non-linear, then our neural networks should also be able to generate non-linear outputs. That's the reason, to add non-linearity to our linear functions, we are using some activation functions. Right? So one such activation function is sigmoid. So what I will do, so this z is equal to, so this is what is my pink part, friends. So z represents the pink part. So z is my pink value. So whatever z I will get, this z will be supplied to the sigmoid function, which its formula is 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. So this blue part represents the activation function. So this blue part is the activation function, right? So till this point, is it clear? I hope we have discussed it already. So till this point, is it clear to everyone? It was just a recap. Please let me know in the chat box. Is it fine as of now? What we have discussed, is it fine? B is bias, H not bias. B is bias. And you know that bias is very important and it is compulsory input. It's like in y equal to mx plus c, right? M is the slope and c is the intercept. Intercept is mandatory, right? So that c is called as bias. If you take y equal to mx plus c, equation of a line, if you take, C is called as bias. Similarly, in neural networks also, we need a separate input called as bias, which can also be represented with a product term called as X naught into W naught, right? So is it fine till this point? Is it clear to everyone? Please let me know so that I can move forward. Please respond in the chat box. H naught, if you still have any doubt related to B, you can refer to our previous lectures. We have spent a lot of time in understanding what is B and why B is mandatory. Why is that B is mandatory? We have to we have discussed in detail in our movie example also. So B is like a threshold. B is nothing but threshold. Right. Please respond. Remaining students, please respond. Shall we move on? Yes. So now we will see the math part involved in it. Again, I will draw the neural network. Right. So friends, I'll draw it now vertically. So this is my, okay, I'll change the color. So this is my output node. This is my hidden layer. I'm drawing it vertically. This is my input. So friends, I call this output node. I represent this one as layer L. So this is called as layer L. This is L minus 1. This is L minus 2. Right? Just I'm giving a name. Output layer is represented with L, and this is L minus 1, and this is L minus 2. Right? So here L means nothing but layer. L is nothing but layer. Oh, L is nothing but layer. So let me erase this. Now we know what is L, what L represents. So this is layer. Now, what kind of inputs I'll get to output, right? Please try to understand. I'm trying to draw this one now. Right. So from this input layer, what will come? From this input layer, what I'll get? I'll get the x1 input. X1 input I will get. There will be some weight. There will be some weight, and there will be some bias. Right. Similarly, right, here also I'll get some inputs. So there are three components: input x1 and weight. So let me call this one as weight, and this one is bias. Right. So here I am writing weight L minus 2, means I am in which layer? This is L. So the green one is L. Previous to green one is pink node. I call it as L1. So to L1, I get inputs from L minus 2. To L minus 1, I'll get input from L minus 2. Right? Means it's previous node. So this is my L. This pink one is L minus 1, and black one is L minus 2. Third node, second node, first node. So second node will get input from first node. Third node will get inputs from second node. So that's the reason I call this one as W of L minus 2. Similarly, this one as B of L minus 2. B of L minus 2 means bias coming from previous layer. Bias coming from previous layer. So B of L minus 2. Now what we will do in this node? What we will do in this node? There are two things. Please try to recollect what we will do in this node. We have two things, pink one and so pink part represents the normal product and summation. Then blue part represents the sigmoid function which I will apply on it. So there are two things, right? Pink part represents the summation, right? And blue part represents the sigmoid function which is applied on this product, right? So friends, let me write it here clearly. This pink part, sorry, yeah, so I will write it for your convenience. The pink part represents an operation which is called as, which is represented with Z. For our convenience we are using it. The blue part represents an operation, right, which is sigmoid of Z. We are applying sigmoid operation on Z, and this output I represent with symbol called as A. So from a node, finally whatever output I am getting is represented with the output A. So friends, so if you observe here, even in this node also, I have the pink part, I have the blue part. So pink part represents Z, blue part represents the sigmoid operation performed on Z. So final output which I get in my output node, final output, new output node, right? That final output is represented as, what is the symbol we are using to represent output? A. So this is out final output A. We are at which layer? A of L, right? So similarly, if the output of this node is represented with A and the layer is L, so what is the output here? We call it as, how this output is represented, it should be called as, please let me know. Please let me know. Output at that node is, output at layer L is represented as AL, and previous output should be represented as, great, L minus 1. Fine. So here this line, this output is called as A of L minus 1. So what is happening now? This A of L minus 1 is becoming input to the next node, right? So just like x1, the way x1, since it is the very first node, there is no further previous output, so direct x1 is the direct input. Similarly, output of this first node becomes input to second node, but only this input is not sufficient, so there should be a wait also. So this is W of L minus 1, right? So I am computing weight for layer L. So for layer L, weight will come from L minus 1. For L minus 1, weight will come from L minus 2. For L minus 2, weight should come from its previous layer, L minus 3, like that. So this is my starting node, and this is A of L. So I am at last node. So the weight for this last node should come from L minus 1. Similarly, another input I will get, which is B of L minus 1. B of L minus 1. So I have This is how I represent my inputs to various units, and AL is my final output. Now coming back to the basics. Okay, I got final output. So what? When there is an output, there will be an error, right? Whenever there is an output, there will be an error. So how do I find the cost function? Cost function, mean square error is the cost function, right? So what is the formula for cost function? What is the formula for cost function? Expected output y minus generated output. What is the output generated here? AL square 1/2 into sigma of mean square error formula, sir. For I is equal to 1 to n, right? So y minus a power l, right? This is actual expected output, this is generated output. Y is expected output, AL is generated output. Y minus AL power whole square, sigma of 1 to n, right? If we have, obviously multiple neurons will be there, right? So it is summation. This is nothing but our mean square error formula, which we have used in gradient descent also, right? So friends, this is my cost function. So I call this one as my cost function, which is represented as 1/2 into y minus a power l whole square, right? So now let us continue. So fine, now I will write some calculations. So coming to my first layer, coming to my last output layer, A of L. So can you tell what will be the value of A of L? Can anybody tell what will be the value of A of L? What is this A of L? It has got two parts, pink and blue. So what is the output of A of L? It's a sigmoid function on, it's a sigmoid function, it's a sigmoid function on Z of L. Friends, I told you I am using Z of L to represent the pink part. A of L represents the blue part. So A of L is equal to sigmoid of Z of L. Now what is the value of Z of L? So I need a formula for that one. So Z of L is equal to Z of L is equal to Z of L means this pink part, this part, right? By looking at the diagram, you can tell what is the formula for Z of L. Weights A L minus 1 is the input, weight L minus 1 is the input. So it is Z of L is what is the formula for Z of L? Sigma of Wi xi, linear function formula plus bias. This is a normal linear function formula, friends. So sigma of Wi xi plus bias is the formula for Z of L, which represents the pink part. I am trying to calculate Z of L, means this part. Now what is the formula and how do I write? So A L minus 1 multiplied by W L minus 1 AL minus 1 into WL minus 1 plus bias B coming from level minus 1 L minus 1. So this is the formula for ZL, right? So this whatever value I get on ZL, that I'll put it to that I'll apply sigmoid function on that ZL, I will get AL, right? So this is okay. Now what is our headache? Our headache is if there is an error, what we will do? We will find gradients. We will find gradients with respect to weights and biases, right? So that is our actual interest. Now obviously there can be an error. So this y represents expected output, AL represents generated output, y minus AL whole square, right? 1/2 into sigma of 1 to n y minus AL whole square represents the error function or cost function. Now what I want to do is I want to minimize this cost. In order to minimize this cost, I should clearly know what is happening at AL, what is happening at AL minus 1, like that at every layer. So I am able to derive a formula for AL now. AL is nothing but sigmoid function of ZL. What is ZL? This pink part is ZL. ZL is a linear function. So AL minus 1 is one input. Input and weight are multiplied. Bias is added. So ZL function, I got it. Now what we want is we want to compute gradients now. So what are the parameters which we are actually guessing? What is gradient descent? Gradient descent is used for parameter optimization. So whatever parameters you are substituting randomly, for those parameters we want a better value so that error can be minimized. So what are the values you are actually guessing? See here in the beginning, x1 I know what is the input. Weight I need to put randomly. Bias I need to put randomly. Here AL minus 1 is the output generated from this node, so I know this value. But what is the weight? I will put randomly. Right? What is the weight? Bias at L minus 1 I need to put randomly. Right? So AL minus 1 I will not put randomly. I know the result here. This AL minus 1 I will not put randomly. In fact, this is calculated at this layer, so I know it. AL minus 1 value I know. So at every layer, what I am randomly, what are the values which I really don't know? What are the values I am putting randomly? Weights and biases. So what are the parameters I need to optimize? My W and my B. These are the parameters I need to optimize. Now what I need to do? I need to apply gradient descent, right? Why gradient descent is applied? To reduce the error. What is the error function? This is the error function, right? Now how do I reduce the error? By applying gradient descent. What is gradient descent? It is nothing but calculating partial derivatives, right? So now what I need to do? I need to calculate partial derivatives with respect to, please listen carefully, partial derivative with respect to weight, means my W's, and I need to calculate partial derivative with respect to my bias B, right? So when I calculate partial derivative with respect to W, I'll get some answer, right? So let me call that answer as WD. Similarly, I'll get some partial derivative for bias. Let me call that one as BD. So what we will do, how do we update? What is the delta rule for gradient descent? How weight should be updated? Weight is equal to W dash is equal to which weight you want to update, that weight plus, right, minus delta W. So what is this? Is plus delta W formula, if you remember. So W, which is nothing but minus, because we are supposed to reduce the error, right? Minus N into, what is N? Learning rate. We have written program also for this one, right? How much stride you should take, that will be decided by N. Generally, we will take a very, very small value, N into, right, WD. So W minus N into WD, I will get the new weight value. Again, I'll substitute new weight value. I'll see what is the error. Again, I'll substitute new value. I'll see the error. This process continues. We have seen in gradient descent for 1,000 times we have executed. We have updated M and B values, slope and intercept values 1,000 times we have updated. And finally, we have seen cost function came close to 0. So friends, this is the entire process need to be done. But now the difficult part in back propagation is, I know that I need to find gradients for weights and bias, right? And when I get the gradient, I'll put it in this gradient rule. W dash equal to, means new weight equal to weight plus delta of W. This I know. But how do I find the gradients? That is the difficult thing. So now we will see how to find gradients with respect to W, how to find gradients with respect to B. So this much depth you need to understand, friends. Otherwise, actually, in Python, there are so many ready-made libraries that are available in Python. So you can straight away use them and implement back propagation. Suppose if you want to implement back propagation, there is a function available in Keras library, you can implement it. But if you run the code, it will run. But what is the fun in implementing a function directly without really knowing how that function is exactly working, right? So now let me derive the partial derivatives of the cost function with respect to weight. Now observe this diagram carefully, my dear friends. Observe this diagram carefully. The diagram on the left hand side. Please observe this diagram carefully. Right? This is the actual math part which we were talking about. Right? This recording you have to listen maybe 1 or 2 times, then you will get complete clarity. So now we are actually starting the math part. Partial derivative symbol. Partial derivative of what? Partial derivative of cost function. With respect to what? Partial derivative of cost function with respect to weight. So where is my cost function? Where I will get cost function? At the final output layer, right? So this AL will not be same as my expected output. So there is a difference. There is an error. That is what is my cost. So where do I get cost part? I'll get my cost part in the final layer. Here in the last layer, I'll apply my cost function. So my cost function depends on what? Cost function depends on my final output layer. Now what I want to do,